for free, you're rotating over. You can either choose to go to bottom of ramparts, or you can choose to go to top of ramparts. Um, I like to go top of ramparts, uh, especially if I think I could win the fight, and then I will then look to pull it in. But B point, if you're group 7, you're kind of just playing your life, trying to win your fight, trying to keep the fight away from the quad DPS so quad DPS can go and do their thing. And then once you win your fight, you can look to bring it in, stepping towards point as needed. Like I said before, point tick is going to dictate positioning. When you see it at like 60%, you're going to pull it a little bit closer. And then when it gets to like 80 or 90, you're pulling much closer. And I'll get more to that in a second. But for B point, you kind of keep the fight off point as much as possible until you get some picks, and then you look to bring it in. Or if you need to step, paying attention to point tick, you can go to step. If you're a part of a split on the other point, it's kind of the same thing. You generally want to be ticking as much as possible, but if you're getting blessed, then you pull it wide. Just little positioning things. But Kill Squad, it is very, 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 very important to always recognize when they have more people than you, because it is no longer about winning the fight, and it is about stalling the fight. It is about playing your life and trying to force them into annoying positions. So let's say like group 7, for example. If you're up here and the quad DPS and group 7 are pushing you, you're not trying to win this fight. You're just trying to delay, play slow. Your sender is no longer trying to stay on the healer because you're not trying to win the fight. You're marking a DPS and you're just trying to stall until either that quad DPS fucks off and goes and tries to find ours or find value elsewhere, or our quad DPS shows up and then you can look to try to win the fight. But always either look to win a fight if numbers are even, or if you have more numbers. And I will get into the juice of everything. Standard layout for everyone. I'll explain all the lines in a second. We will start from left to right. So, starting with group 10. Group 10 does group 10 things, is what everyone says. What those group 10 things are is you essentially have two options. One of them is a gamble, one of them is like the standard play. Standard play is match your fight. Then once you win your fight, you look to push up and take control of ramparts so that you can apply pressure into, let me swap colors. So you can apply pressure into the heal pocket. The gamble option is rather than match your fight, you try to force yourself to take space and get on the ramparts, have your bows set up here, have your disruptors playing down here, healers, I don't know, fucking running in circles around ramparts. And one of two things will happen. They either try to go to our healers or group 9 and look to plus that, or they will match you guys. The favorable option is match you guys. It's because you've already taken your space. The fight is over here. If you win your fight, you can immediately apply pressure into the heal pocket. Like I said before, though, that second play is a gamble. Generally, you want to match your fight, because what can happen is they say, okay, you're going to go over there, fuck you. We're going to either kill your group 9, kill your quad DPS, or move into your heal pocket and kill all the healers that are playing over here. So one of two things will happen. They either get more value than you, or you kill their healers faster. It's a very ego play, but some people are trying it. If it works, it's a better play. If it doesn't work, you completely threw, and the entire strong side's going to lose, and everyone's going to point and laugh at you because you lost us the war. So generally, match your fight. Group 9, with the assistance of the quad DPS. Quad DPS is generally going to help Group 9 win. Group 9, once they win, is going to take position here and try to force healers into this heal pocket. Group 8, glorified point group. They're going to be playing slowly. A lot more micro positioning happens in Group 8. I feel like this is one of the hardest roles in the army as far as understanding positioning within the fight. Um, this is going to consist of 2 spears, a fire staff, a IGVG, and a healer. Um, what will happen once they win their fight is 2 players are going to look to then push up into this space. Or what did I say? 2 players. While the other 2 are looking to dog targets on point. So it'll look something like this is the winning position. So overall winning position on strong side is you have your group 10 up here, your group 9 is pushed up to here. 2 players from group 8 are here, 2 players are helping out on point, and all of their healers are choked into this area. I can get into what every group like how they should be playing, but I'm not like this odd review would last far too long if I did all of that. Um mhm. What group are you in when you're getting plussed? Okay. Uh, so what you need to do is someone needs to have comms with the quad DPS and let them know that's what's going on. Saying so it's like, yo, quad DPS, we're getting plussed right now. And then you just play your lives and quad DPS, if they're getting value elsewhere and they're killing tons of things, then you just keep stalling up there. Like if these guys are getting value, you are also getting value by holding all of those players and pulling them away from point. But no, so they have a decision to make. So you give them the information like, hey, their quad DPS is plussing the group 7 fight. So they can either come help you and then you then try to win that fight, or um, you just keep holding that, and then the quad DPS can go on a rampage and just keep killing shit because they are uncontested. So what could happen is you're playing your lives up here, quad DPS pushes into here, kills a ton of people in their heal pocket or people in road, and then once they get value there, they can look to sandwich the quad DPS that is plussing you guys. But just giving them that information because, especially in lower tier wars, quad DPS are kind of fucking idiots. So they might not even know that's where the quad DPS is. So just give them that information, and then they can make decision from there. If they're getting value elsewhere, fantastic. If they want to come help you guys, fantastic. Like both work. You just need to recognize that you are no longer playing to win when you're getting blessed. Group 7 is a very soldier position. Like you don't like this is a new group 10. You pretty much don't do shit in the army. um okay. Explaining point tick dictating positioning. So, and this is point tick, yeah. When you are on attack, you have 2 decisions. You can either go lower ramparts or upper ramparts. For the general approach, attack is always dictating positioning. Starting upper ramparts is generally the play that you're going to be doing. The reason for this is the fight for Group 7, what you're trying to secure is this space right here. What this enables is your casters to have a safe place to play on. Your healer can run around ramparts up and down doing whatever, and it's much easier for them. Um, your casters want to chill on ramparts and like lower ramparts so that they can also have a safe place to play. They have a higher like elevation so they can see a lot easier. This is the position that you want your casters to be on. This is what you're trying to secure on both attack and defense. Um, I'll get into like the point tick really quick. So what I'm talking about right now is all of this tick right here. So while it's like 50% or less, I'd say like probably like 60% or less, you're playing in this. Let me label these. So we're starting in lane one. So taking control of his upper space, trying to just keep the fight away from point, but still trying to win your fight. As point tick goes up and reaches this 60 to like 80 or 90%, you're playing in this two lane, um, playing a little bit closer to point so that you can be ready for as point tick goes up. If you see low targets coming off of point, you can still flex to them. Um, you can bounce away if you're getting plussed. Uh, kind of the area you just want to be playing as group two or in lane two while it's at that 60 to 80%. Then, as point tick reaches kind of like more of the all in calls, you're playing much closer to point. As a disruptor, you are playing in this area. Tiptoeing point, keeping people off of point, keeping low targets on point. Um, if you're on Greatsword, you don't really ever want to step on point unless it's a true all-in call. Like if you see fucking healers and bows stepping point, then yeah, you can slip. But prior to that, your sender and your greatsword, when it reaches that high tick, your fight no longer matters. You are going to jump into their heal pocket. Sender is going to look to just interrupt casts, and the greatsword is looking to just kill as much shit as possible. Um, the flex spear in the group is generally just looking to plus point and dog low targets, keep people off of point, um, while the other two in the group are jumping into the heal pocket. Um, any questions on that so far? Yeah, that's the spear, the standard spear, either heavy or medium, depending. I mean, people play both, but I prefer medium flex spear in group 7, but depending on the army I'm going against, sometimes I'll run heavy. Um, as you win your fight in group 7, like we talked about, like the winning positions that you're trying to end up in, this is kind of where you're going. But it's kind of a loose area. It's pretty much a road to ramparts is like the area you're bouncing between because you have respawns coming in, right? So respawns came in, they crashed point. Your little endgame position ends up over here. You hear respawns are coming in. Your endgame position kind of bounces back to over here. Um, and then you let those respawns come in, and then you can push up again. But step one is always going to be match your fight, and then recognize when you're getting plussed, pull it back. It's group 7 is a lot of moving around and being adaptive based off of what's happening in front of you. It is both the I wouldn't say like necessarily the hardest role because I think group 8 is harder, but you have to be more observant in group 7 about what's happening. So you want probably smarter players in group 7, but not necessarily the most like gifted players in group 7. But people just constantly need to be looking around. Your sender needs to be looking back towards your group and recognizing like when they need to peel back. If someone in your group is dead, like you have to jump off the healer and then mark like a DPS. Um, I can get more into that in like a VOD review, but that is general outside macro. Okay, this is my fort. I just realized it kind of looks like a derpy cat or something. Let me just delete that. Oh, yeah. Um, okay, so generally you're gonna have a group here for kill squad, a group here for kill squad, and then two groups here. So they'll say like this is group 9, this is group 10. Sometimes those are swapped. And then this would be group 8 and 7 in the back. Uh, on attack. Okay, let me start. So, trying to think the best way to go about this. The most common strat that's going to happen in the back is they're going to try to hold you at stairs. They will send both Group 7 and Group 8 here, sometimes with the assistance of Quad DPS, and they will look to hold you. If you anticipate that they're doing this, something that the attackers can do is then just stack Quad DPS here, look to push in, and like guarantee that victory. So if the quad DPS is plussing C gate, then the back gates are kind of just looking to delay, and then inside fort, they're just looking to hard win while kill squads are fucking off outside along with the quad DPS. And then force point tick, everyone runs inside, tries to get in, yada yada yada. That's kind of how that plays out. Or quad DPS will go and match you in the back gates, and then you just look to try to win this, and then get damage on the gates, and then get inside. But back gate play meta right now is delay and hold the attackers as long as possible. Ways that you can get around this is build siege equipment like I think it's the cannons you can jump on and get onto the stage. Um, And then you can get straight to gate without having to deal with the stairs in the back, like choking you there. Um, but on attack, the goal is to get damage on the gates. On defense, the goal is to keep damage off the gates. So if you're on defense, you recognize that your gate is going down, stop what you're doing, try to get to the gate, match whoever's there. Everyone else can try to hold. Killing healer is very important. And yeah. Okay, so once everyone's done LARPing in the back, trying to hold these stairs, let's say gates have gone down, but everybody's looking to push or stop the push. What's going to happen is your casters on defense are generally playing in this horn area. If they're playing towards center stage, they're dog shit, never play there. If you're attacking and you recognize that someone is playing there, they are dog shit, go kill them. Um, the re- in center stage. So if you're on defense and your casters are playing here, they're fucking trolling. Like they are bad players that don't know how to play inside fort. The reason is you have the stairs that go up right here, right? That lead to heaven. So yep. And that's exactly why you play there. Is like you have a lot better area to play around. Um, both sides' goal is to try to kill a light player immediately. Sometimes a medium player if they're overextended and you recognize that you can kill them. Um, but the ultimate goal is to either kill a fire staff or kill a healer. Your sender needs to be on their healer as much as possible. Um, More so, what your sender is looking for inside fort is someone free casting the fight that you are looking at, whether that's a healer or a fire staff. More often than not, you're going to want to be looking at the healer. So let's say your fight comes in, you kill the healer, you won your fight, you guys move on. We'll say that their group 9 came in and they're trying to pillage dirt. You're the sender, your group is fighting this group, you're looking for the healer that is casting that fight. While everyone else is calling out targets and trying to kill them, you are looking for the healer that is on that fight. Do you normally play, what do you normally play in group 7? Okay. So okay, so you're just looking for targets to dog as a group, while your sender is looking to stick on the healer, and then they'll call out when the healer's low or can die. Like they have no cleanse, they have no stone form, they have no berserk or none of their rapier abilities. Then that's your cue for being able to dog. Hold on, I gotta reply to someone. Who the fuck pinged me? Okay. Um, so just like outside, point tick is still going to dictate positioning. So while there's no point tick, and point is just kind of LARPing, doing their thing, trying to get point tick, but nothing's happening yet. You're controlling stage, you're staying far away, and then like this is what the lanes look like again. That's a little bit different. Say it's more like that. So you're playing stage, trying to keep this clear. Number one thing as a group is you're trying to keep people from sorry. You're trying to keep people from free casting on stage. Let's say this is specifically group 7. This is your gate, right? Um, the area that you control is kind of like that. This is what you're looking at. So if you're fighting in dirt, you're still keeping an eye on the stage. If you see a bunch of healers and fire staffs up here, you can send like 2 people up there, just clear that. They'll jump down. The rest of your group can bounce into hell. You have them pinched and they die. Um, so just constantly having some people looking up here, like, yo, there's 3 people stage, let's go clear that off. And then your group goes up here. You could say, I'm gonna go sit hell, and like you guys try to push them into me. And then they drop off and you Mhm, mhm. So a play that I've been trying to do is like you were saying at the start, where people like to go up here and then drop down and run in circles and whatever. As sender, I just sit right here and then they drop down into me. And then when you land, you kind of are forced to roll and like you can't dodge or do anything. So that's a guaranteed lockdown on that person. So I see them drop down, I fucking shield bash them, like, yo guys, come get your food. And like everyone else drops down and like we just kill that guy instantly. Um So again, point tick dictating positioning. You have your lanes. Ideally, what happens is you pull it down into dirt and you're fighting like bottom of stairs towards point. Um, then when you're at your like bottom of stairs, you look at points, see what's going on. Is it low tick? Okay, we can continue doing whatever. Is stage clear? Okay, we can just look to dog targets wherever. Okay, point tick's approaching like 60%. Let's pull it a little bit closer. And then you're looking to like fight hell, maybe down into like I wouldn't say all the way to B choke, but like looking at like the boxes that are over here, see if there's healers there. Again, still looking at stage, see if it's clear. This is your priority as like if you're this gate, this is like your whole area that you're looking at over here. Um, then as point take approaches much higher, same as outside, your greatsword is looking to just kill as many people as possible. Your sender is looking to interrupt as many casts as possible. The rest of your group is stepping when they can. Um, you as Spear, you're just kind of like looking around like the edge of point, seeing where those light targets are stepping, and just calling out like, "Yo, healer's bot right," or like "Low target's bot right," "Squishy's bot right." Um, and then like your little roaming kill squad goes over here, your greatsword's here, your fire staff's applying damage into it, your sender is looking to interrupt casts that are going on in that area. Some crashes might be happening on you, so you just make sure you have cleanse and all of your consumes going. And then like as you win that, it's like some of them move top right, some of them move top right, go top right, and then like you ape them there. Ideally, what you're trying to do is like macro wise is get a sacred into this area, and then you're playing there as much as possible, but obviously like depending on what's going on, you can't live there because like you got respawns coming in right here. Like this is a dangerous for the sacred placement. That's gonna be for both. So it's gonna be gate dependent. So um kind of think of this as mirrored if you're on this gate. So just like like flip everything. And then if you're on this gate, it's like flipped this way. And then if you're on this gate, it's like, flipped both ways. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So pretty much like you have four main like kill squads and then your quad DPS. Um, sorry, four main kill squads and then quad DPS. So you're controlling all quadrants of the fort. So it's divided like that, right? Yeah. And then you just like bleed over a little bit. So there's a little bit of overlap. So like this group, they're kind of like going over into like this area. So this is the area that this group is looking at. So it's just mirrored. Um, but the reason why you're trying to get a sacred into this area is so that the point players have somewhere that they can jump off and get into that's like safe off of point. So it's just a really high value sacred. A little bit of both. So generally what I'll do is like, hey, I'm gonna be going top right. Can I get a sacred in like the top right area? And then boom, sacred right here. It's generally like a little bit off of point. And then so what this does is it allows you a place to retreat to. So what you want to try to do is like pressure hell, pressure stairs. It's like those are the areas like you're kind of looking at. You want to play in dirt so that you can look to dog targets that are on point. Um, and it's just like a good fucking like lookout spot that you can retreat to and like have vision of like your entire quadrant. And then it allows point players to bounce off if they need to avoid a crash and have a sacred to play in. So once I kind of like win the fight or we have an edge, I'll kind of run over here and say like, "Hey, can I get a sacred?" Or how long till sacred? 5 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna look to go like the top right area. Look to get a sacred on me there, and then boom, you go over there, sacred on you, and then this benefits everybody inside a fort. And then ideally, you get a sacred there, a sacred there, sacred there. There's a sacred there from the quadrant, 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 and then AOE healer dumping on wherever like the crashes are. Um, and just like look at this coverage from sacreds. Like this is like exactly what we're looking for. I mean this is what we're looking for, and then AOE healers dropping the sacred where it needs to be. But if healers aren't free casting their sacreds at this point in the game, they are trolling. You almost never want to do a targeted sacred. It's like you are trying to get it where it needs to be, and then the AOE healer is dropping it where the crashes are happening. Any questions for inside a fort before we get into the VOD review? Go for it.